thought of anything like that there was a buyer's agent. So it would have been interesting if I had have known.
May you have applied. I'm glad you didn't though, but it's a buyer's agent, very growing and changing field. So it's exciting times.
Yes, and welcome to the Sydney Property Muppets podcast. My name's Kurt Lawther. I'm the real estate agent, and with me and forever is
Chris Clark, the buyer's agent.
So last week, Chris, I wouldn't say you grilled me. You just had interview styled me about becoming a real estate agent, why, some of the ins and outs. I did my best to not do a shoddy job. Hope you guys decide. Go watch that episode. But this week, tables are turned. I'm sort of going to be interviewing you, and I think this is going to be a very interesting one because buyer's agents is still a very, what was the word you used? Embryonic.
I do like that word. It's one of my key words.
A new industry, and I think there's some things you can lift the lid on.
It's a very interesting. I think I use the term embryonic, but I also put a pause on it because there's actually already some buyer's agents out there been going for a couple of decades and have some real mature practices. But embryonic because there's still people entering who are very new, fresh, starting their own businesses up, and away they go.
And the general public, I wouldn't say, is fully aware.
Yeah, so that's probably embryonic in the standpoint that only about less than 5%, if not even near that, of deals across Australia utilise a buyer's agent.
Yeah. So if you're in the eastern suburbs in Sydney, buyer's agents galore. Lower North Shore, Upper North Shore, they're starting to become a lot more.
Yeah, Inner West.
You go up to the Central Coast, maybe a couple, maybe, I don't even know.
There's a few good ones actually in Newcastle. There is on Central Coast, I know one or two good ones.
Yeah, but it's still very rare at the moment up there.
Yeah.
So, question to start with, background. What were you in beforehand? And I think this is an important question because real estate's one of these industries, I think people think they need to have 20 years of selling experience or certain degrees background. What was your background and what was the change or catalyst that led you to jump into the real estate industry?
Look, I won't go through it too much, but unique background. I was a school teacher, travelled overseas, worked in bars, worked in Rio de Janeiro in teaching judges and PAs. Came back to Australia, did 3 years in Origin Energy in a marketing role. Wanted to get in sales, so joined recruitment and joined a global recruitment firm, Michael Page, where I was all about helping people's careers. And I hadn't done property, but I know it's a very close synergy to what a buyer's agent does. And I've said this before, often is in recruitment we are helping individuals understand what their criteria is, what the salary they want, the location, their career potential. We also know their family situations typically. When it comes to buying a house, we know their budget, we know their location, we know their criteria, we know what they want out of it longer term, and we know their family situation. So the discussions that we have is almost identical. Yep. I feel like I'm a weapon in that space. Obviously, property being new. Before I was selling people, helping people find jobs and connecting with businesses. Now it's property, so there's physical bricks and mortar is definitely a new element.
Yep. What drove you down the buyer's agent's path? I know last week you mentioned that you potentially wouldn't want to rock up to the same house selling it
as a real estate agent.
As a real estate agent, what sort of drew you into the buyer's agent, and where did you start? And did you start your own company, or did you have to join someone else? What was the story?
You didn't have to join someone else, but I did. So my brother's a buyer's agent, Simon Clark. He set up Settler Buyers Agents now. We were both part of a previous firm, which is still in existence in Universal, which is a typically more Brisbane-based buyer's agent firm. So we sort of bolted into there and gleaned some really good, useful experience about what a buyer's agent does and how we get about it. And we also did Ben Handler, he was originally the founder of Cohen Handler, which is probably one of the more established buyer's agents firm in Australia. He has a training program called BAI, Buyer's Agent Institute, and I went through that. So there was education, there was Class 1 licence, and there was all this experience. But then that gave me all the weapons and the power to set up Clark Buyers Agents on my own 18 months ago now.
And were you nervous, or was it trying to have the fund? Where did the funding come, or was it a bit of a risk that, because buyer's agents, once again, are generally paid on performance once you seal the deal. how did that go? Being like taking that leap from 12 years in recruitment, where you're constantly getting income. I know then you started
Yeah.
up with Simon and
Yep.
Universal,
Yep.
but then taking that leap where the responsibility is all on you. How did that feel? Or
Well, there's what is it? Three certainties in life. There's the pay slip, taxes, and death. Right. These are three things
yes,
that are going to happen typically. And we're addicted to a pay slip. You know, when you're in a job like that, PAYG, the comfort of knowing that exact number is going to hit your account. You might get bonus, but that number is going to hit your account every month. Crazy as it sounds, I think partly because of my brother's belief in me, and partly because of the years of experience in corporate, and that I just had self belief. So I knew it would work in a crazy way. And even when first started, the first 12 months are your toughest. You know, I purchased 7 properties in the first 12 months, which is definitely good. Really happy with that. Not enough. If anything, it drove backwards from my own personal finance. But I had a very much a blind belief that we would be able to succeed. And I did 17 properties in my second year, and I think I'm going to do 35 this year.
so a couple of points. Where for those people that sort of want to get into it, what is the blind belief or that motivation, or just that you're? Because some people I think will ask themselves, how like where does it come from? What is it like? Is it just driven? Can you work on it, or
Yeah, I don't know. I can only talk for myself. So I think that the fact that I could see the crossover with the career, a long, 12-year career in a similar, different but similar industry, had that there. So I think if you're sitting there listening, going, I've got a similar in that, I've got a career that I believe has an imprint to come across. Doesn't have to in property, but it has a similar sort of get to know you and pipeline. I don't think if you don't have that, I see people making the mistake of, there is ads and so forth that saying buyer's agent. Obviously, being quite new, there is an attractive. If you type this into Google, you'll get 1,000 ads about how easy it is, and I can assure you it's not.
are you sure? Isn't it just going to get $1 billion in earnings?
Easily, no, well, not from my experience, but I think you need to be. I would encourage people to join. Similar to what we talk about when we talk about real estate agents, join someone established. I mean, the fear for that established business is you're going to join and leave within a short period. It's up to them to create culture and remuneration that is going to mean you're going to stick there longer term. But I think that's a great way for you to go through your own self-interest, to join someone established, to gain, okay, what are the calls, who am I learning off, what are the faux pas, where have people fallen short before, rather than be on your own day one and not have anyone to lean upon. You got your clients trusting you to spend, in Sydney, the lowest property purchase I've done $610,000, which is a lot of money.
Compared to the rest of Australia,
Yeah.
or
Or
the
regardless,
average,
I just
yeah.
think it's a lot of money. And I've purchased up to $13 million, a lot of money. So you don't want to disrespect that by any sense. By having that support around you, I think you can have some confidence you're not doing the wrong thing by them.
Well, I think, and I actually learnt this from when I was chasing the music dream, is I think a lot of people feel they're cheating if they don't learn it on their own or learn from their mistakes. Or I actually think learn from people that have already done it. I was like, if someone's already gone through, that hard yakka or the hard yards and seen the mistakes, learn from that.
The best, I think the best learning is when you make the mistake yourself. Absolutely. But the second best learning is learning from other people's mistakes. And if you can harness that and make that important to you to learn off, it will put you in good stead of where you want to go. I think, learning through your own mistakes is great, but then if those mistakes are damaging and hurting other people, and potentially hurting your business as you're embryonic, come back to that word again. For me, this part of the other attraction of going off and doing this was I'm a strong person of ethics. I don't like to have massive push tactics involved. I like to give people time to make a decision. And when you're part of a larger firm, whether that's in recruitment or whatever it is in buyer's agent, there typically will be metrics and forces encouraging people to buy. Whereas I've had clients take 8 months and I've had clients take 4 days. It doesn't bother me either way.
Yeah.
As long as it's the right property for them and they're comfortable. And I can actually go, and I'm confident to go, okay, in months and years to come, I'm going to look back and still be confident that deal was the right deal, and then that's great to be part of.
Okay. A question I want to ask is, networking. Obviously, if you're in a real estate company or you're joining a big buyer's agent company, they've sort of got the brand, the name out there, so that massively helps.
Yep.
Even though you still need to get your name out there, you've kind of got that backing or that recognition, sort of in a way. Starting up your own company. I know a lot of people try and go to networking events.
Yep.
The hard thing about them is there could be 10 other buyer's agents and people end up just selling them. Can sometimes become a bit of a sell fest of that.
Yep.
And I know the answer to this, but what's something you do, piece of networking that you do weekly that you would recommend?
Yeah, huge. I mean, set up nice. BNI, I mean, you go online, you can read good things and bad things about it, but for me, it's been absolutely revolutionary. Craig Foreman, a mortgage broker, actually invited me along one week. So that's a networking group. We meet on Wednesday mornings. There's one of each profession. So there's one broker, there's one buyer's agent, there's one marketing, there's one, whatever it may be. Yeah, so there's other people who can visit, but those are the people who are there week in, week out as members. And the referral, so the mortgage broker has a client, they need to buy a property, they need to sell a property, they need to use a property solicitor. It really connects through.
Yeah.
And something about 40% of my business actually comes from that.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than that, how does the commission or pay work with a buyer's agent? So selling agent, you might be just say 1.5, 2%, 2.5, whatever it is.
Yes.
Once you sell, what's the next part? Like, as in that's for a selling agent, but as a buyer's agent, how does it work?
So as a buyer's agent, there are typically two payments. There is an upfront retaining fee to engage our services. Getting the opportunity here to talk about it. So it does two things for my business. One, it means we have a contract, typically 6 months. If you don't buy, something happens, there's no cancellation fee. So that retaining fee stays with me, but it basically pays my petrol. It's not an exorbitant amount of money, but it's enough to keep things running. We are more incentivized to secure the property where we get a larger fee. But also my business, that also locks away your position. So if you're looking to buy, a 3-bedroom townhouse in Chatswood, when you're engaged to use me, I cannot take on somebody who's looking to buy a 3-bedroom townhouse in Chatswood around the same level. I'll tell that next person you need to wait until I buy for this person. So and the reason that is I don't have the conflict of interest. That's not a standard norm, but that's my own norm.
Yeah, I do know some companies also have that as well.
Yeah, it's not uncommon, but it's not also common.
Yeah. Flat fee or a percentage?
So my business works pretty much primarily on a flat fee model. The only time we work on a percentage is where sometimes with investors, they might be looking to spend a varied amount. So it might be, Christian might find a problem, it's 1 million to 3 million. Very hard to have a flat fee there because it's such a big variant. But typically it's a fixed fee, and it's similar sort of percentages, I guess, as a selling agent.
And I guess probably before we start wrapping up, who is a buyer's agent suited for? So comparing a selling agent or a real estate agent to a buyer's agent, what is the difference, and who should look at going down the the buyer's agent path?
To become a buyer's agent?
Yeah, like personality traits, sort of goals, aspirations, sort of ethics even.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a difference so much in terms of the person from, if they're looking at real estate or buyer's agent, I think you make your own decision on where that's comfortable for you to do so. I joked last week, but it's also in seriousness, like real estate agent to me, having to go back and see the same property over and over again, I love the fact that I can see a property and never see it again.
Yeah.
Or I could see a property and probably the maximum I'm going to see it's 3 to 4 times through that process. And the other part that's attractive in the buyer's agent world, again, this is my own perspective, is it is growing. The barrier to entry, there's the same license. We actually share the exact same real estate license. Not share, but we are under the same umbrella.
You did 10 units, I did 10 units.
Correct. But there are a lot more established real estate agents. And also I look at it from a real estate agent. To gain a client, you have to door knock a property that everyone else has door knocked and so forth. To gain a buyer, you can't door knock somebody because I might be buying in Elizabeth Bay, right? But the person wanting to buy there actually currently lives in Melbourne.
Yep.
So I can't door knock Melbourne to buy in Elizabeth Bay. So there's a different way of capturing clients there. That's why mortgage brokers and property solicitors are my best friend, because they're aware of those people looking to buy who might be buying in different areas, and then they can connect me to be their expert on the ground.
Well, I was going to say, from a real estate agent's perspective, this week, on a very conservative number, I've spoken to 100 different buyers.
Yep.
So, you can only, as a buyer's agent, have so many clients, and I've spoken to 100 different.
Yeah, and how many of those people have had a buyer's agent representing them?
Maybe 2.
Yeah, 2. So you look at that's 2%.
Yeah.
Right, so there's 98% of people out there that are ripe.
Yeah. Whereas there could be in, just say, a suburb, roughly maybe 50 houses on the market.
Yep.
Now, some of them are going to have more than the same agent,
Approaching them.
But there's plenty of agents out there. So the pool of you being able to secure a client as a real estate agent is a lot more difficult
Yep.
Than a buyer's agent. So you could say a buyer's agent. The business can be, maybe it's a positive or a little bit, I don't want to say easier, but then on the flip side, it's harder for a buyer's agent to win that business because we've got all the data to speak to our potential clients.
Well, I think it's also maturity. Like, if those 50 properties being sold in the area, how many of them are not using a real estate agent?
No.
Right. How many people are buying without using a buyer's agent? 98 out of 100, right?
Yeah.
So why is that? It's probably not because they don't need it, not that it's not valid. A lot of them just don't know, or they don't know someone who's used one, they don't know the positive experience, they don't know the savings, or they just don't know. You said earlier on about, I think in the previous episode, or at the start of this one, talking about when you became a real estate agent, you weren't even aware of buyer's agent to feel, well, that's our buyers. Quite often, I think 30% of the time when I'm speaking to somebody through a lead or connection, the start of the conversation is, Chris, I've never actually even heard of a buyer's agent until so-and-so said to call you. What do you do? Whereas I'm guessing for a real estate agent, you never have someone say, hey, I've connected with you, but I've never heard of a real estate agent. What do you do?
That's a great question, Chris.
It is a great question, but it's also not a question you're going to have. They might ask, what do you do different to somebody else? But they, in essence, believe that, which actually is a detriment because they've got a lot of assumptions with you. With me, there's no assumption. So it's beautiful because I can actually paint them a very clear picture of what I do.
Yep. And I was going to say, I think this is the one advantage buyer's agents have over real estate agents is that you guys can create an industry that where most people are satisfied with your service. Whereas in the selling agent, there is just that perception, a bit of negativity because some people don't think, and I don't think real estate agents have helped in that we haven't given the industry the best look sometimes. Whereas the buyer's agents, up and coming, you guys can control how people perceive you in the long run.
Well, you have a product, right? So someone's selling that house and they think it's worth 3. So if you sell for 2.8, even if that's above the market expectation and everything else, and you know that's amazing, the person originally contacted you hoping for 3. So they're already going to have a negative, potentially negative. With me, they're going, okay, we've got 2.8 to spend in this area, and we go through a journey and we look at various properties and we find the one that's going to fit them. It might not have all the bells and whistles, but the satisfactory is higher because they're like, you've achieved in 2.8 what we're looking to achieve. It's a very good point.
Even if you're 100K over, that generally someone lives in a property 5-10 years, no one thinks about the extra 100K that they think they paid over.
No, and also,
unless it's an obvious.
But also if they spend 100K more, that's through a journey. It's not through a flippant comment of, oh, let's spend 100K more. There's a reason and validity. Anyway, we should wrap it up because I know we're dribbling here.
Yes.
Not the basketball MJ dribbling.
3 quick questions my way.
Oh, that is true. So, as per you last time,
Yes.
how many buyer's agencies can you name? You got 10 seconds.
Cohen Handler.
Yep. I gave it to you.
Clark's buyer's agent.
The best.
Dan Grantham buyer's agent.
Yeah, no, Dan.
Mayfield property buyers.
Mayfield property. Can you get one more?
Oh.
Who's the lady from your Bean Eye? Is that one you've already mentioned?
Lance property buyers.
Sounds like you need a one-to-one with her. Okay.
Oh no, she's changed. She was from Mayfield. We got a different guy.
Oh, she got a different. Oh, right. Okay. All right. Next question. What are your thoughts on vendors advocacy? So these are people who help people find a sales agent. What are your thoughts on them as individuals, people, or an industry?
I think there's positives and negatives.
Okay. I reckon I don't know if we've done an episode on vendors advocacy.
I reckon that's a great episode.
There you go. That's what comes up. All right.
Chris can't read his own
I
writing.
can't always struggle with this, but you got your trip coming up.
Yes.
What is the one thing, the biggest thing you're looking forward to in that trip? Can't be a country.
I love flying on planes.
You fly in business class?
For a small part of
Are
it.
you really?
Oh, like from Italy to England.
Must be nice.
But I love the whole process of waking up, going to the airport, you know, that whole thing of being in the airport, checking your passport. I love it. I know people hate it. You know, about halfway through the flight of the 14.5-hour journey, I'm a little bit like...
Kurt enjoys a process. Well, thank you all for this. I hope it's been useful. If you're looking to become a buyer's agent, feel free to reach out, or real estate agent, reach out. Please like, share. If you know someone who's looking for a career change, please send them the episode and see what they think.
And if you think this podcast can help just one friend, please share. Also like and subscribe. You guys are amazing.
Thank you so much.